Hey guys, it's Karen here from Arden Cove, and today I'm going to attempt to make fabric face masks. So if it's your first time here, welcome. I am the co-founder of Arden Cove, which means that I have the best job ever, and that is designing handbags, backpacks, purses, wallets, and accessories for a living. I love my job. We get to create so many amazing products, and I would say that we put a lot of emphasis on design and making sure it's functional and beautiful. I run the company with my sister, and we both just have such a huge passion for well-designed items. That being said, I am a purse designer. I haven't really designed many other things except for things on the computer. I have some experience in graphic design, but not so much in real life objects other than purses. So I was very curious as to whether or not I can create a fabric mask. What we know now is that COVID-19 spreads by going from an infected person to a non-infected person through water particles. So it could spread from someone coughing or sneezing near another person, and then that person is infected. And that's why wearing a face covering is super important. It's especially important to wear a face covering for this particular disease because we can't always tell who is sick. It's thought that about 25% of people who are infected are actually asymptomatic. That could mean that you're carrying the disease and not even know it because you have no symptoms. And even if you do show symptoms, it could be 4 to 5 days before you see the symptoms appear. So that time period before you know you're sick, you could be spreading it. And that's really dangerous. Assuming that you're not sick and you're touching things, you're not wearing a face mask, you could be spreading the disease unknowingly, and other people might not fare as well as you do. That's why public health experts say that it's super important to wear a face mask whether you think you're sick or not. It contains the virus within your face if you are infected, and it filters out disease if someone nearby has the virus so it doesn't transfer to yourself. You shouldn't think of the face masks as making you invincible. They're not foolproof. They're not going to definitely not get you sick. You should still follow all of the recommendations, such as washing your hands and social distancing. And all three of these actions used in conjunction will really help prevent the spread of this disease. In addition, these fabric masks are for general purposes, people who are just going out, walking their dogs, or getting groceries. It's not for medical professionals. People who are working day in and day out in close proximity with sick people need higher grade masks like those fancy N95 masks. There's a lot of people trying to reserve those N95 masks for medical professionals because they're the ones who really need the protection right now. Now all the serious stuff is done, let's talk about the fun stuff. So first of all, let's talk about materials. So my first phase of making a face mask is to research. The CDC did release guidelines on how to make your at-home fabric face mask. So I highly recommend for you to read it as well. I'll leave it in the description bar below. When I start a new design, whether it's a bag or a fabric mask in this case, I like to start off by sketching out or writing down some general ideas. Some materials you need to start off with is some fabric to sew the mask. You'll also need some elastic for the ear loops, a wire for the nose wire, as well as thread to stitch it all together. Some tools which are more optional is a sewing machine, fabric shears, as well as an iron. These again are optional, but they make your life much easier. If you don't have a sewing machine, you can hand sew with some needle and thread. So the next step is to get a little bit more specific about the fabric. Superficially, I wanted something to look pretty, but functionally, it had to be something that was easy to clean because obviously, if it's a reusable mask, you're going to be washing it in between each use. I also wanted it to be something that was easy to acquire or that we already had in stock. Especially right now with shipping, it's a little bit harder to find specialty materials and stores aren't necessarily open. From my research, I knew I wanted to do a double layer mask for more protection, And the fabric had to be something that was thick or dense enough to block out particles, but had to still be breathable when you had 2 layers stacked together on top of your nose and mouth. That way you'll wear the mask and keep it on your face without fidgeting with it or taking it off, because if you take it off your face, you're not protected. For the fit, I didn't want any gaps, particularly around the nose and the sides of the face, because that would be a potential opening that would let a virus in. I wanted it to have a nose wire so that you can shape it to your face, the contours of your nose, and have it be really snug. I also wanted the elastic to be really comfortable, something that wasn't too tight where it would pull on your ears if you wore it for a long time, but also something that would stay in place. I found this study called Aerosol Filtration Efficiency of Common Fabrics Used in Respiratory Cloth Masks. They found that using even something as common as a cotton sheet combined with another layer or multiple layers of polyester spandex chiffon was able to reduce most aerosol particles, 80 to 99%, depending on the particle size, and that their performance was comparable to that of an N95 mask. And they found similar results when using other materials like chiffon with natural silk or flannel, or even using cotton quilt with cotton polyester batting. So that is really promising, as these are all materials you probably can find at home or upcycle a old piece of clothing that you no longer want. I'll link this study down below so you can check it out for yourself. In order to get the most effect of these fabrics, you want a good fitting mask. So as soon as we decided on the fabric, we then start on the patterns. I started by trying out a bunch of tutorials online. There's so many great ones. There's quite a few that are rectangular, like a surgical mask. I tried a couple of those. I also tried some ones where it's more of a contoured shape around the nose and mouth. I found that I was less happy with the rectangular face masks because they tended to gap along the sides. I think I could have fixed this by shortening the width as well as the height of the sides, and then having the pleats do all the work of pulling out to cover the nose and mouth. I also found that sewing the pleats were a little bit difficult. I think if I had an iron, I could have sewed the pleats a little bit more neater, and it would have just been an easier time. However, I already had this contour mask that I really liked the design of, so I decided to pursue that path and perfect that design. Hey Carmen.
Hi.
What are we doing today?
We're gonna make masks.
But first, what do we gotta do?
I guess we gotta clean my room.
Who tied up all of the Frozen characters into a bundle? Ta-da! We have our desk. Carmen's still cleaning. She's also wearing the pajamas, living her best quarantine life.
Yes.
What do you have?
We have beautiful fabric that Karen and I picked up from Joann's. If life gives you lemons, make it nice.
Wow. So we have our fabric, which is cotton, and then we have some cotton fleece as well as some matching thread. It's so cute. And our sewing machine is here. So I just put the fabric into the washing machine, and we're gonna work on creating a pattern for a mask. And these, I've made a couple of these already, and I've just been like iterating on them to make this fit a little bit better. We're thinking that we can make this a little longer to extend down so that when I talk, you can see it's falling down my nose as I talk. I'm going to extend this to expand a little bit wider. 4.5, so we want to add like a full inch. And I'm going to use this as the base, but extend this part right here. So I got my sewing machine out. Confession time. Even though we make our own bags, we design it, we don't actually sew it ourselves, so I'm actually not good at sewing.
I sew.
Carmen sews. I just don't. So I had to Google how to use a sewing machine. If you don't know how to use your sewing machine, just Google it because you won't learn from this video. definitely feels really big now.
Too big?
I don't think the shape is as good as before now.
Yeah, why?
Is it way too long?
Yeah, too long. I mean, it literally catches my neck.
I overshot a little bit with the seam allowance, so this is actually 1.5 inches bigger than the old one. So I measured out 1/2 inch away from the bottom, and I'm literally just going to sew across.
Cut it off.
Yep. And this is, you know, not a final mask, so it's just for the size, so I think it's fine to take shortcuts like this. Makes masks that shock and terrify. It's a little bit more manageable. We still need to sew in the nose piece, and this will come in a little bit more. At least it's no longer hitting my throat. I sewn in the bottom a little bit more. Test try number 5051. So,
Looks pretty good.
yeah. So, I feel pretty good about this, and I'm just gonna flip it inside out and trace it as a pattern. And finish this off just to make sure we really like it with the darts as well as the nose piece. Fit test number 5052. Oh no, this rubber band is too weak. It broke twice already. Let's ignore that. Oh, I still need to sew in the darts. But actually this is not too bad. I think the fact that it's wider now on the bottom means that this part doesn't need to be quite as narrow.
Yeah.
But it could still be. We could still sew a little bit of a dart. Oh my god, it's struggling so hard to sew. There's so much fabric. Okay. Looks good.
With the chin area.
Yep.
I'm talking and I don't feel like it's moving the mask at all.
Are the loops too long?
Maybe a little too long.
You know what? I guess the blue masks, the surgical masks, are not as wide as this one, right?
Yeah. I feel like we haven't made very much progress.
I made 5. You made 5.
I made more than 5.
Oh, you made more than 5. That's even better. Being very careful because I want to make sure that the pattern looks good. I don't want it like a cut off thing in the middle unless it's near the chin.
Yeah.
You know, like I want to try to keep it nice and...
It's day 2, Carmen.
Day 2.
I guess it's actually day 3. We only did a little bit over the weekend though. Oh my god. Carmen is making a mess. What did you do? Did you overfill it? Wow, we're so professional.
So this will...
30-year-old learns how to iron for the first time. Is that official technique?
Mm-hmm. Very efficient.
So over the weekend we did continue to cut a couple more. Not too many, to be honest. I also got some reinforcements, actual scissors, which will be so much better than what we were doing. Some elastic for the ear loops, as well as some twist ties for the nose strip.
Wow.
It actually cuts the fabric. Yeah.
Wow. Is it like the other scissors we have, or like just regular scissors that are probably pretty old and dull?
But first, I'm gonna eat my sandwich. Look at how perfect my layers are. So satisfying. There's been an accident. Our needle broke. And we don't have a spare right now, so we have to order another one.
So we just got 100 of these needles. This is the fastest, cheapest option. Hey, this looks like the gum packaging. You know, like, it looks the same.
It does look the same. I think we're really revealing what noobs we are at sewing. Back in business.
Yeah.
Very slow business.
Trying to ease back into things, you know? So Karen was adjusting some fit things. She did a new prototype, and I think we need to take a break. Look at that.
It's inside out.
She flipped it over and it was inside out.
Oh no.
Wait, oh, both sides were inside out?
Yeah.
How did...
I just sewed the strings onto the wrong side.
Oh. I was like, how did you do that? Take a break, Karen. No. It's Friday afternoon.
Gotta make masks.
Does it fit well? That's the most important part.
It's a fit pretty good at this.
Yeah. Nice and fit.
I still need to add the nose piece.
My room is so messy. I should go this way. Mm-hmm. Oh no, my bed is messy. I was like, oh, everything's so messy.
Oh.
At least it fits well.
So let's talk about some care instructions. These masks are washable and reusable. So when you come home, first you want to wash your hands, take off the mask, either throw it into the washing machine or hand wash it with some soap. And then you can tumble dry on low or hang it to dry out. After handling the mask, you definitely want to wash your hands again. I know it's a lot of hand washing, but it's the safest way. If you want to make the mask nice and straight again, you can use an iron. Just avoid the nose piece area because it is a wire. In the end, I had a lot of fun making these masks with my sister. It's a fun activity you can try to do at home. You probably have a lot of the materials at home already. We threw up a couple masks onto our website, so if you want, you can purchase them. They come in a couple different patterns. My favorite is, of course, the lemons, because it's just like a reminder that even though right now there's a lot of difficult things going on, a lot of things that we have every right to be upset about or, you know, feeling sad about. It's just a reminder to stay focused on how to make the situation better, and even if we are given lemons, we can still make lemonade by making masks. I hope you guys are well. Please take care of yourselves. Please wear a face covering when you go outside, whether it's something you make yourself or buy in a store. We'll get through this together, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.